And I think we try that again, shall I?
Are you unable to speak?
Just as well this isn't live, isn't it? Just as well Carlos is doing the radio. Oh, no. Oh, you'll laugh at this, Mr. Bounds. You'll laugh at this. I very nearly said a very bad word on the radio the other day.
Oh.
It was very early in the morning because we were at, and I'm going to make sure I say it correctly now, we were at Old Buckenham Country Park.
Oh, dear.
And I froze on the word country.
Yep.
And then panicked because I realised what I'd done.
Yes, one can't be too careful.
No, indeed. It's a very dangerous game to play this. No, I'd never recommend live radio. It's not for the faint-hearted.
No.
There we go.
No, can't do that.
Yeah, well, they can see you now.
Good, lovely. Hello, Richard Adams. Hope you're well. The Family Bounds is in the Isle of Wight at the moment. The kids, the grandkids, the daughter-in-law are all in the Isle of Wight for a week. So I'm assuming the weather is as nice there as it is on the mainland.
If not warmer. It was a lot warmer when we were there. We're back in first week of October, I think.
The Isle of Wight, a bit like the Channel Islands, has its own climate which is different to everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're back in. Yeah, we loved it so much. We literally booked, because the accommodation we were in was so lovely as well. We literally booked it while we were there for later on in the year, because it was just so lovely. And it was our own fault because we'd gone when most things were closed, because we wanted to go do the boat ride and go and see the Needles and stuff like that, but because it was March, they hadn't started yet, so that was quite cool. But yeah, can't wait. I'm so ready for a holiday.
Well, me too, although I've just come back from Ireland, but
that's
that
a lot
was
of
partially working, bit of work to begin with, and
there's so much driving. It's lovely to, it's such a drive though, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure it was a very pretty drive as well.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing, as I said earlier, the quality of roads in Ireland is so much nicer than the UK. And of course, all their motorways are just 2 lanes only, because you don't need any more than that. As you come into Dublin, things tend to hot up a bit though. Yeah. And it's a bit, not quite the M25, but the A12.
There ain't traffic like it, is there? Frankly, it's a very unique.
No, but so if anyone's ever had the chance to drive in Ireland, or just take a week out, it's brilliant. I've done it so many times for work, but all as I've ever seen is the hotel, the airport, the customer's premises, and
not
somebody's
the same, is it?
And that's it, and then back home again. So it's a nice change. And we were so lucky with the weather. Ireland has this reputation of having 4 seasons in one day, and it very often can. But we were lucky the week we got the Bray Air Show was absolutely spot on, 24, 25 degrees. And then just driving around afterwards, it was brilliant. So very, very fortunate. So
love that. Yeah.
Yes.
So nice.
Yes.
And did Mrs. Bounds have a nice time as well?
She did. Yes. And of course, the last time we went on a boat together was across from Poole to Guernsey and Jersey, where the weather was extremely choppy on the catamaran that we went on. And I can probably say this because we're sort of on air, sort of off air, as it were.
Yes.
She was so ill. I mean, she decided to have a lasagna.
Yes.
On the boat to try and settle her stomach a bit.
Wow. Okay.
Unfortunately, this did not work.
No.
And she said to me, it's the only time she's had lasagna coming down her nose. That's not a good look.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. That's really mean of me. I do apologise.
And then she had like 3 days of misery after that. It took her 3 days to recover. So on this occasion, we went on the normal ferry on the way out and the faster catamaran on the way back.
Okay.
Perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Which for the Irish Sea is
rare.
Not bad going, because, again, you don't know quite what you're going to get.
Mm.
Back in the day when I was working in Sweden, very often because I was doing so much driving, I took my own car over.
Okay.
So I went from Harwich to Gothenburg on the ferry, which is 23 hours, which is a bit of a slog, obviously. And on one occasion, they sent us an email to say, "Oh, the boat that you're on, its top gear isn't working, so it will take 36 hours. Hope that's okay."
Wow. Did you have any meetings that were...
Well, no, luckily not. But
did you have a cabin or anything, or was it...
Yes,
you
kind of have to, really, because of the length of time it takes. But also the North Sea, again, you'd expect that to be really choppy. But again, I've been on that a few times now where it's been as, like glass.
Mill pond?
And there has been other times when it's been less glamorous, shall we say.
Yeah. Incoming.
God.
Yeah, or in Mrs. Nev's case, see lasagna in reverse.
Yeah, I don't really do boats. I can put up with the worst turbulence ever on a flight, but I cannot do boats very well. I don't know what it is. Yeah. It's just the way that the motion of the ship is sometimes. But anyway,
it is the I don't know. I think. See, I'm the other way, actually. It's the turbulence that is the real bother for me, if you see what I mean. I understand the science behind it. I get, I sort of understand it, but it, especially recently where there's been such, like, really bad, like, as in, like, people have got hurt bad. And there was one person that died, wasn't there, recently, just because they banged it's... admittedly, probably their fault because they should have been wearing their seatbelt when they were told to, and they didn't.
Well,
it's
No, Richard says yes. Irish roads were terrible 20 years ago. I know. I was driving them 20 years ago, and I drove from Dublin to Cork, and that was a single carriageway road. I seem to recall.
Wow.
And the good old EU stumped up loads of money, and now it's loads of dual carriageway.
But
20 odd years ago, and I think I'm right in saying, and please do correct me if I'm wrong, I think they've only had the driving test since 1968. So during the 70s, driving was a bit hazardous.
Yes, took your life in your own hands,
the least. But things have improved since then. And actually, to be honest with you, the quality of driving in Ireland I found a lot better than the UK. Far more courteous as well.
I said that to Richard jokingly when we met up with him in the Isle of Wight. It was like going back to living in Denton, where everybody, like, if the first thing, the default was to let you through. And because I came back here and sort of started doing the same, being courteous and all that kind of thing, the same 25-minute journey was taking me nearly 40 minutes because, like, nobody was, I was just sat there letting people through all the time. But
yes, Captain Cruise, Ireland drives on the left as well. Although, how about this for weirdness? They do, the speed is in kilometres per hour.
Yes.
And the signage is in kilometres. And you buy litres of petrol or diesel, so that's all fine. However, there was a period where the speed limits were in miles per hour and the distances on the signs were in kilometres.
Ooh.
So if it said Dublin 9, you didn't know how long it was going to take you to get there.
Yeah, 9 what? Yeah.
Yes. So that was 9 kilometres, but driving at 30 miles per hour. Let's get the calculator out, shall we? But no, they've gone fully metric. But they do drive on the left. Yeah. Yes. You're right, Captain Cruise. Sweden also used to drive on the left until about 67 or 68, but they've always had left-hand drive cars.
Oh, okay.
So work that one out. They've always had left-hand drive cars, but they drove on the left until the late 60s.
Okay,
it's another quiz question, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. I'm trying to absorb all of this information.
So there we go. Anyway, we've got a packed show tonight. Lots to bring you tonight. Carlos is going to join us shortly after the beginning, after his show has finished.
Yes, he's doing the home run so that I could be here, basically.
Yeah.
Which I'm grateful for. It was. Do you know what, Nev? It was so lovely to just come home like after work and have my tea.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, rather than yes.
Yeah, rather than yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Never mind. All part of the fun. What was I looking for? I don't know. Yes, so everything's all working. That's good.
Oh, Carlos is now joining us.
Is he? Oh, we might have a bit of radio background, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do that. Can we hear anything?
Well, of course, he's broadcasting from his new studio, isn't he?
He is, yes. I did go and plug it in for him.
Yes, well, probably after you've plugged it in, it's all been great, but he's probably fiddled with it.
That does happen a lot, doesn't it?
And there has been a loss of functionality.
Yes, indeed.
How is that? Why does that not surprise me?
A loss of functionality, I think you mean.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I just need to make some changes because it's now altered your... Oh, there he is. He's got video. Hello. He can hear us. He's tapping his ear. Oh, I forgot about that. It's obviously working quite well then, the technology. Oh well. Yeah.
Well, I'll start it off, Carlos, and you can jump in when you've finished. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, thumbs up. Good.
So lovely. I don't have to rewrite the show notes
for the fourth time. Yes, lovely.
Fourth time. Yeah.
Love that for you. Now, I've just got to change the view here so that I want to see just the speaker. But why is it doing that? I don't want...
10 seconds to go.
Oh, no. I've got a problem.
Oh, yes. Oh, dear.
I'll work it out. Here we go. Must start on time at all costs.
Absolutely.
I don't understand what I've done wrong.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Oh. The thing has stopped.
Oh dear.
Honestly, hang on. Don't know what's happened there. Hello.
What you done wrong?
I've broken it. Why is it not? It even says VT clock and it's not. Hello, we've got an echo, mate. Have you sorted that? Yeah.
Oh, have I? Have you got an echo? I don't know.
No, it's gone now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, let's try that again, shall we? 3, 2, 1.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 564 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Nev, and in this week's show, Ryanair drops 3 French airports in a row over tax. British Airways files a $230,000 lawsuit against Boston Airport over damage to one of its A380s, and Icelandair retains position as Europe's most punctual airline. Well, we've got an excellent report from Captain Al from his Oshkosh visit and his newly found appreciation for military aircraft. Yes, you did hear that correctly.
What?
And we also have the second of our interviews from the Bray Air Show, where we speak to our listener, Andrew Van der Saag, who came all the way from Edinburgh to see us at the show. We also announced this week the winner of our competition for guessing the number of photos that Jonathan Warner took at this year's RIAT show. And we'll talk a little bit about when Carlos and I had to go on a full motion A320 simulator last week. So lots to pack in this week. And joining me over in the PTUK Master Suite studio this week is Matt.
Hello. How are you, Mr. Bounds?
All right, yes. A little bit cooler, I'm pleased to say.
Not here, although it looks very stormy outside. I have to say, the sky's gone very dark and grey. So I'm a bit worried about that. How was Ireland?
Very nice, very pleasing indeed. Yeah, as I was saying earlier on, the weather was absolutely perfect. Couldn't have been better. The show was great, and the travelling afterwards was nice as well. Just like 24 degrees, something like that. 2 very smooth crossings across the Irish Sea, which was even nicer. So glad to be back, but also delighted that we had a good trip as well. So
Lovely
we'll
time.
be bringing some more content from the show in the coming weeks.
Fantastic. Love that. Great news.
Lovely. And finally, Carlos has made an appearance after his radio show has now finished. Hello, mate.
Hello, Mr. Bounds. Yes, I'm just literally come off air and straight. Well, I say straight into the out of the studio and into the studio. I'm straight in the studio. No moving at all. Had to be done.
I know. It's the wonders of modern technology, isn't it?
I know.
You're doing one thing 1 minute and that. But thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I'm not going to lie, mate. It was so lovely to just come home and have my tea at a normal time. I'm not going to lie. Thank you.
No, it's been a busy old day. I'm not going to lie. It's been quite the day today. But and it's blooming hot. I'm not going to lie. For those of you who may be in the UK, we're experiencing some rather warm weather, especially here in East Anglia. I don't know about you, Nev, what it's like in Buckinghamshire, but it's been blooming warm here today.
Yes, it was. Yesterday was the worst day. It was 34 degrees at one point here yesterday.
Ouch.
Which for our chums in the Middle East is a walk in the park, I realise. But
indeed.
For us chaps and lasses here, it's a bit hot. But no, it's cooled down a bit today. But it's still going to be on the high side for the next few days. That's for sure.
You see, I have a theory about this. I think the problem is we're not used to it. So our homes and ourselves, not only are we not used to it, but of course our houses are not built for that sort of thing. You go to some of these, sort of like Spain and things like that. They've got shutters on the windows so that you can sort of shut the sun out, and sort of the material's different to make sure that the house doesn't get hot and all stuff like that. Because we don't have any of that here, do we? Normally we're trying to keep all the heat in because it's freezing.
Honestly, it's the exact opposite. This new house that we're now in is a bit of a newer house. It was built in 2012, but it's been insulated to within an inch of its life. So it upstairs, especially, it's now on my little thermometer in the studio here. It's just saying 30 degrees Celsius.
Oh, lovely!
So it's quite warm in here, and I've got literally a USB fan just sitting across there blowing at me.
Lovely.
It's rather warm.
Okay, I'd recommend bringing that closer. Just saying.
Yes, I think I will do.
I love that. Indeed, but we mustn't grumble. There's a trouble with us Brits, isn't it?
We shouldn't grumble.
We're never happy. 1 minute we're whinging because it's too blooming cold, and now it's like, oh, I like it warm, but this is too warm.
Yeah, I should say, by the way, that Andy is unable to join us.
Oh, just got to go and let Gemma in.
He's at the cricket, and therefore, if he's at the cricket, that means he's drinking beer,
right?
And will be unable to join us later.
Yes.
Due to operational difficulties.
Indeed. Or if he did appear, then we'd be off air faster than like...
Yes, we'd lose our clean rating.
Indeed. I wonder how well they've done. I wonder what sort of mood he's in.
Well, we'll no doubt get texts and pictures and all the rest of it, won't we?
Indeed.
But,
yes,
so.
Slightly scared about that, as I say, with a bit of luck, hopefully.
Well, when we saw him last week, by the way, I haven't seen him for quite a long time because all I ever see is his head and shoulders on Zoom. But he's lost a lot of weight, so perhaps he's just given up food and just drunk himself.
I mean, I think that's...
I don't know.
That's certainly something to consider. I mean, how about I carry out an experiment? I'll give it a try, shall I?
All right.
Yeah. I'll find out what he's got in his pub and only drink that.
Yeah. Excellent. Anyway, Carlos, great to see you, mate, and you can take over the rest of it now.
Yes. So let's have a look and see who's in the chat room this evening. Who's joining us in there? Going to start off at the top of the list. Mazoos, hello to you. Lovely to see you in there this evening. Richard Adams is in there. Says evening all. Captain Cruz, good evening, folks. He says hello to you. We've got Jonathan Warner. He's in there. He's ready to see who's won the prize to guess how many pictures he took at RIAT this year. That's coming up later on in the show. And I tell you what, we had some we had some serious answers in for that question, I'm not going to lie. We've got in the chat room Hobby Time. Hello to you as well. Great to see you in there. Bill. Hello, Bill. Great to see you. He says, he's on about Top Gear. What's he on about Top Gear? Good show, that is. Ant Flynn. Hello to you. Says evening all as well. Hello to you. And Tanya, the lovely Tanya, is also in there. Hello, Tanya. Lovely to see you in the chat room. Darren Smith. Hello, Darren. Hope you're well. Masha, the lovely Masha, greetings to you. And we've got Jason Trussell. Hello, Jason. He says, evening all. Hope we're all well. We are. Hopefully we're all well. Sturman's in there as well. Our lover of all things grey. Sturman, hello to you. Let me scroll down, make sure I don't miss anyone. Let me just have a quick flick through. No, I don't think I've missed anyone. Hopefully not. Thanks for joining us all this evening. Don't forget, if you're listening to us as an audio podcast, we're live every Wednesday, 7 o'clock here on YouTube. So don't forget to hit the subscribe and also the bell icon to be notified when we're live. And Matt has hit that go live button in the studios because we'd love to have you in the chat room with us. As Nev said, we have got an absolute pile of stuff to get through this week on the show, including also also announcing the winner of the special Red Arrows piece that we're giving away as a prize for guessing how many pictures Mr. Warner took at RIAT. So, if all the team's ready, let's do some commercial news.
Oh no.
No?
No.
Okay, let's not do any commercial news.
Let's try that again, Joe. Here we go.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
So the first story this week comes through us from the UK Aviation.news, and it's smarter cabin design cuts emissions by up to 25%. Airlines can slash their carbon footprint by more than a quarter without investing in new aircraft or alternative fuels. Are you all right, Mum? Mum's just joining me in the studio here.
Hi, darling.
Thank you, Mummy. Oh, bless her. Thanks, Mum. On the show. Thanks for that, Mum. According to new analysis from aviation data specialist Serum, research from Serum's Emerald Sky platform shows that the higher seating density can deliver reductions of over 25% in carbon dioxide emissions per available seat kilometre. The new gains come from not from changing the type of aircraft flown, but from optimising how space inside the cabin is used. While denser seating has traditionally been viewed as compromise on passenger comfort, Serum argues it can play a powerful role in cutting per passenger emissions. Once an aircraft is airborne, the fuel burn is largely fixed, the report notes. The seats, more seats available to share the load, the lower the passenger emissions are. One striking example comes from Cebu Pacific, which operates the A330-900 Neo with 459 seats. Wow, they packed those in. 138 more than the global average for that type of aircraft. The result is the same plane on the same route with the same engines, but a substantially smaller environmental footprint. The findings challenge the view that meaningful emissions cuts must rely solely on new propulsion systems, sustainable aviation fuels, or long-term research and development. Instead, Serum Airlines says, can be achieved immediately. Measurable improvements through operational choices without regulatory changes or infrastructure investment. The company emphasises that new technology remains crucial for the industry's path to net zero, but notes for cabin configuration should be part of a broader sustainability conversation. For carriers juggling growth with environmental targets, the flexibility to improve efficiency through design changes could prove vital. There are more commercial benefits too in a market increasingly attuned to environmental performance, demonstrating operational efficiency, whether through cabin layouts, route planning or aircraft utilisation, can offer a competitive edge. However, Serum acknowledges that there are trade-offs. Higher density cabins can compromise comfort, as we all know, and may not align with every airline's brand or market. Striking the right balance between passenger experience and emissions reduction will depend on the individual strategies. Emissions performance isn't just about what you fly, but how you configure it, the report concludes. Now, I'm all for saving on emissions and improving on stuff, you know, like this, but I think when you get to the stage where you're loading, what was it, Nev, 459 seats into an A330, you are going to lose comfort there, especially with the thinner and more harder seats that they produce nowadays.
Yes. I didn't even think about aircraft configuration when it comes to this sort of thing, I must say, until I read this or some of this report and then wrote it earlier today. Yeah, I mean, it's cramming more people in is, ticks all the boxes, but does it add, benefits to the passenger? I don't think it does, personally speaking. But
no,
but yeah, saying that the optimizing how the space is used inside the cabin, that word optimizing, it's a bit of a. I always think it's a bit of a word.
An oxymoron.
Yes, optimization for whom?
Yes.
But anyway,
bottom lines, I suspect.
It's a view, I suppose. Yeah.
There we go. So perhaps Ryanair will start putting 400 seats in the 737 MAX. You never know. Anyway, Matt, you've got the next story, which, funnily enough, is a Ryanair story.
Indeed.
And
Speaking of which,
it's all about the good three-letter word.
Oh, hello. Okay.
No, not that one.
Lovely. TheTimes.com is the source on this one, and the headline is Ryanair drops 3 French airports in a row over tax. Ryanair is scaling down operations in France because of tax increases, according to its chief executive, who accused the country's government of shooting itself in both feet. In a characteristically combative interview with Le Parisien newspaper, Michael O'Leary said that France preferred tax rises to economic growth. His comments prompted an angry response from Philippe Tabarot, the French transport minister. O'Leary said that Ryanair, Europe's largest airline with 200 million passengers last year, would cease services to 3 airports in France this winter and would reduce French flights by 13%. Ryanair is to stop flights to and from Bergerac and Brive airports, which serve Dordogne, a popular holiday destination and home to many British expats. The flights to Strasbourg in eastern France will also cease.
Well, he's quite good at doing that, isn't he? He, gets the calculator out and starts pressing the minus button on it. And Ryanair are regularly in deep conversations with airport about landing fees and all the rest of it. And yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that they've pulled bases from places around Europe because the landing fees are too high, or the ground handling fees are too high, or whatever it is. So yeah, I can understand that, but those are quite popular destinations, so they
really
might end
are.
up losing to some capacity on that, especially during the winter skiing season, I would have thought.
I mean, I sort of get it, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, part of me is wondering, is he doing this because there is quite a lot of might with the Ryanair brand? Whether he thinks that by doing this, it might mean that they sort of see quite a, because to love them or hate them, I mean, they are popular routes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and actually, I've completely changed my mind about Ryanair and Michael O'Leary over, the last few years, where originally I thought it was a bit of an irritation, the stuff he was coming out with, but actually, if you look at the low-cost model that Southwest have got in the US, Ryanair very much models itself on that, and the way that they get the cost out of the system is to try and negotiate with the airports the best possible deals. And if those taxes or landing fees or ground handling stuff starts going up, then they have to start putting the price of the tickets up, and they don't want to do that. So rather than do that, they would far rather reduce capacity on the routes or pull the base altogether. So I have to say, I've got some time for that point of view.
And what's interesting also, I think, is as it said in the report there, Nev, it's costed. He's worked out that what will happen, in order to get the same baseline, if you like, from their perspective, he can reduce the flights by 13%. He can reduce the amount of flights that are going into and out of those airports by 13%. So, I mean, this is a man who lives and breathes numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've got no problem with that at all. I think they've done a fantastic job on the financial model and also the safety aspect as well. I mean, bearing in mind the number of sectors that they fly in and around Europe just in one day, the safety record is very impressive, and they're doing all this stuff absolutely by the book. To make sure that they've got a proper and safe operation, and that they're not in the sights of the regulator at all. So that's an impressive record, isn't it?
But I know from chats with Al, years ago, obviously when I was having my fear of flying sort of thing, and we were having a discussion about low cost airlines and all that kind of thing, and he said very much so, like, if we're ever in a scenario where low cost equals low safety, then the model's gone. It's just never going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Nev, you've got the next story, and it's good old BA. And I must have missed this one because this happened a few years ago.
Yes, this is going back a bit. It's on aviationatoz.com. And talking of costs, BA has filed a $293,000 lawsuit against Boston Airport over damage to one of its A380s. And this was caused by faulty airport ground equipment. Well, this happened in June 2022, but details only became public when the airline filed a lawsuit against the Massachusetts Port Authority, Massport, the state agency that runs Boston Logan. BA claims that the damage grounded the aircraft for weeks and cost the airline at least £293,000 in repairs and operational expenses, and obviously aircraft out of service as well. The court filings state that the aircraft involved, which was a 9-year-old Airbus A330, registration Golf X-Ray Lima Echo Lima, had flown from London Heathrow to Boston on June the 8th, 2022. Upon arrival, it was parked at its assigned gate and connected to the airport's power supply, which normally runs through an outlet in the jet bridge. That day, however, the jet bridge's power unit was out of service. Instead, a mobile ground ground power unit, GPU, was used. BA alleges that this substitute unit malfunctioned, causing major damage to multiple electrical systems on the aircraft. The airline said that the problem was so severe that it had to cancel the return flight to London immediately, leaving hundreds of passengers and crew stranded in Boston. I can think of worse places to be stranded, but that's not the point, is it? The damaged aircraft has only recently returned to service after being stored during the pandemic. It had been reactivated in November 2021, but the June 2022 incident forced it back out of operation. Well, BA faced a logistical challenge in arranging repairs. The airline had no local maintenance contracts in Boston with the necessary expertise to handle A380 electrical systems. Engineers had to tow the aircraft to a remote stand, remove key components and fly them to London for assessment and repair. Even after repairs were complete, the aircraft could not resume service from Boston. It had to be ferried back to London empty before re-entering commercial operation weeks later. BA filed the lawsuit against Massport exactly 3 years and 1 day after the incident. And as we mentioned, the claim sought at least $293,000 to recover repair costs and related expenses. The airline also named the manufacturer of the faulty GPU in its legal action. Whilst it's likely that BA tried to negotiate compensation beforehand, the lawsuit appears to have accelerated discussions. And shortly after court documents were served, British Airways informed the court that an out-of-court settlement had been reached. That settlement amount remains confidential, but I bet it's more than $293,000. I would think. Goodness me.
It's a few
now
quid,
you would
then.
think, wouldn't you, there'd be some safety devices or circuit breakers that would pop if there was an over voltage or an incorrect voltage or a reverse polarity or something like that. But I'm not an A380 expert on electrical systems, I have to say. If only we had Andy here, he might be able to give us a bit of information on that.
I mean,
But,
when you think,
there we go.
You think how massively overregulated even our own homes are in terms of electrical systems and things like that. And you're lambasted if you don't put in exactly the correct fuse to the it's if it's a lamp or something, it must have a 3-amp fuse in it and all that kind of thing. I mean, surely it must be that on steroids for an aircraft. You'd sort of assume that we'd be sort of to have the best systems in the world with circuit breakers that perhaps go a little bit sensitively even.
Yeah, a lot of electrical systems on aircraft, I think, are sort of 110 volts, 400 hertz, that sort of area. But if obviously they've had a big moment, or the GPUs put out some wacky voltage, or perhaps sometimes you can actually get a spike, a harmonic, which is not enough to trip a circuit breaker, but is enough to do some electrical damage. That has certainly happened on other things that I can think of that I've been involved with in the past, although they have tended to be low voltage, not high voltage. But nonetheless, an expensive lesson there.
Ouch.
Yeah,
that's a few quid there. Big insurance claim, that one.
Could be.
Next up, Aerotime.aero and Wizz Air introducing new flight deck technology to improve passenger comfort. So Wizz Air, the European low-cost airline group, has announced the introduction of new in-flight technology across its entire fleet of Airbus aircraft to support advanced flight operations and to improve customer comfort for passengers. The innovations being introduced include a smart flight path recommendations for pilots and advanced weather guidance systems, which are now being used on all Wizz Air flights. In a program that started back in March, Wizz Air began the rollout of the new technology, which equipped pilots with StalkJet's FlyGuide FPO, or Flight Path Optimization solution that evaluates aircraft performance models and actual flight data using machine learning algorithms. According to a Wizz statement, the AI-driven tool, there we go, AI, optimal seeds and attitudes for each phase of flight, from climb to cruising and descent, with personalised advice delivered to pilots via their tablets. With the information, pilots can make more informed decisions that lead to more efficient flights, says Wizz Air in a statement. Pilots can also avoid unnecessary carbon dioxide emissions. After more than 10,000 test flights, Wizz Air has achieved 0.5 to 1% fuel and CO2 reductions per flight with no compromise to safety. Also, starting in August this year, Wizz Air pilots have access now to real-time in-flight weather data on the flight deck through Avtec's Aventus and Sigma systems. Wizz Air states that these tools enhance traditional pre-flight weather briefings by delivering dynamic route-specific notifications during the flight. Pilots will receive up-to-the-minute information about wind patterns, turbulence, and other conditions along the flight path, such as icing, thunderstorms, and volcanic ash. With the feature, pilots also see routes in 4 dimensions: longitude, latitude, altitude and time, and received suggestions on their onboard computer on how to reach the destination most efficiently. So basically, they're getting like a posh version of Waze.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I tell you, when Andy's on next, we'll ask him about this, because obviously Wizz fly similar aircraft to he. But yeah, if there's some 0.5% to 1% fuel and CO2 reduction per flight, that is a big number if you start multiplying it across the number of sectors that they're flying. And especially with the Neo aircraft as well, there's some big savings there.
Especially with the weather bit as well, Nev. Could help pilots obviously stop flying into cyclones when they're on approach to Gatwick.
Yes, don't do that.
Like at Gatwick.
Yeah, don't do that. We'll come back to that later in the show.
I'm absolutely fascinated. What on
dear, more on that later. Matt. Right, Matt, you've got the next story. We had this in our group chat this week.
We did.
And quite a big story. We've covered this a bit in the past, but it's kind of gone to another level now.
Indeed. ChronicleLive.co.uk is the source on this one. and I think I'm still a bit quiet, so just bear with me a moment. Emirates Airlines has announced a ban on the use of power banks during flights, effective October the 1st, 2025, due to increasing safety concerns. The airline is a popular choice for travellers flying from Newcastle International Airport. Under the new regulations, the passengers are allowed to carry one power bank with a maximum capacity of 100 watt hours, but it must remain switched off for the entire duration of the flight. Additionally, charging power banks using the aircraft's power outlets will not be permitted. Passengers must store their power banks in the seat pocket or under the seat in front of them. Placing them in the overhead bins or checked luggage is prohibited. Emirates stated that these measures aim to enhance passenger safety by enabling cabin crew to quickly address any battery-related emergencies. The concerns stem from the nature of power banks, which use lithium-ion or lithium polymer batteries that can overheat due to a phenomenon known as thermal runaway. This occurs when a battery generates heat faster than it can dissipate it, potentially leading to fires, explosions and the release of harmful gases. While many smartphones come with built-in safety guards to prevent overcharging, some power banks do not have safety features, increasing the risk on board. A statement from Emirates reads, after a comprehensive safety review, Emirates is taking a firm and proactive stance to mitigate risk when it comes to power banks on board. There has been a significant growth in customers using power banks in recent years, resulting in an increasing number of lithium battery related incidents on board flights across the wider aviation industry. Power banks primarily utilise lithium ion or lithium polymer batteries, and their function is a portable battery pack designed to recharge devices on the go. The batteries contain lithium ions suspended in an electrolyte solution. The ions flow through the electrolyte, travelling back and forth between two electrodes as the battery charges and discharges. If the battery is overcharged or damaged, it may result in thermal runaway. Thermal runaway in batteries is a self-accelerating process where heat generation within a battery cell exceeds its ability to dissipate heat, leading to a rapid and uncontrollable temperature increase. This can result in dangerous consequences like fire, explosions, and the release of toxic gases. Most phones and sophisticated lithium batteries powered devices have an internal trickle system which slowly adds current into the battery to prevent overcharging, but many basic power banks do not have those safeguards, increasing the risk. All power banks are subject to the new rules on board Emirates. Emirates' new regulations will significantly reduce risks associated with power banks by prohibiting their use while on board the aircraft. Storing power banks in accessible locations within the cabin ensures that in the rare event of fire, trained cabin crew can quickly respond and extinguish said fire. I'm going to be very bold here and say that I think the problem is cheap power banks.
Yeah, I was
There
going
you
to
go.
ask that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's a question you ask because you can get cheap power banks online. Some of them are ridiculously cheap. The
But
two
there's a
that I've
reason for
got,
that. Mm.
yeah, I've got two really good ones that are both made by decent manufacturers that sell really good stuff.
And they're going to have the circuits. They're going to have the circuits in it, Carlos, to protect it, to make sure that it. There's a reason why you can't speed charge power banks, if you see what I mean. And if you've got one that will charge very quickly, then that is, I would argue, potentially an issue. But I guess some of the problem we've got now is identifying what is a good make. Do you know, Nev?
Yeah.
I'm going to go down a little cul-de-sac here, if I may. Like back in the old days of hi-fi, there were certain brands that you got. If you had a Denon or a Technics or something like that, you knew it was a bit of quality. If you bought an Alba hi-fi, you knew what you were getting. Do you know what I mean? You knew by that name that it was cheap and, it was very low budget and it would be absolutely fine, but it would essentially sound very tinny and unpleasant. Do you know what I mean?
Alba.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you mention Audio Technica, Shaw, Stanton, Iowa, you name it, However, I was just reading that article. I thought I'll whop my one out.
Oh,
pardon the expression.
Oh, look at that. that.
Now, this is the one that I use, and I could start the car on it if I want to, because it's got
Wow.
enough capacity to do it. And I thought this must be well over 100 watt hours, but it's not. It's only 35 watt hours, and it's a really heavy
Wow.
thing. So 100 watt hours is just enormous.
It's like a car battery. That's like a.
Well,
like
it
a
is.
leisure
It's,
battery.
it's designed for starting a car from
Yeah.
scratch, basically. But it's also got some USB outputs on and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, the 12 volt output on it is substantial, and it will.
Yeah. A lot
it's
of
got
amps. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically it's a 1500 amp 12 volt. But I really thought it would be far greater.
Yeah.
Than 100 watts, 100 watt hours, but it's not. It's 35.
So essentially, you can take massive power banks on board.
Yeah,
still, you know.
But no, I completely agree with you. It's the quality of the circuitry and all the rest of it, and the vast majority of these thermal runaways have been caused by low quality component manufacturer. Simple as that.
And the only time that would be, that would perhaps be the exception to that rule is, you know, if it has got trapped like between a seat or whatever, and then been punctured, and then there's nothing you can do about that, is there really?
I'm with Richard Adams on this one. There, do you see the comment he's put in the chat room?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah, the Anchor one. I must admit, the two that I've got are both Anchor ones, and they are really well built, really well made. Have awesome reviews online. And you know, I've never had any
Is that
issues
the
with
correct
them at all.
spelling of that company?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Careful.
Yeah. So I was talking to a somebody. When I was in my previous job, we did a lot of work with the various fire and rescue organisations up and down the country. And I went to the Cheshire Fire and Rescue organisation on the way to see Al one day, actually, and talking about all sorts of bits and pieces. And they were telling me about lithium battery fires and how difficult these are to put out. And they've got special training on it, obviously. And I'm just talking about small scale stuff in people's homes, let alone on board an aircraft. But I mean, it's a big subject. And as Neil Cloughly mentioned at our last big meetup, you know, you can put the thing out and 4 weeks later it'll relight. It's a big subject, isn't it?
Yes, I just got to gently remind Carlos that turning his mic off doesn't mean we can't hear him over here.
Hello.
Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Don't panic.
All right.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlos forgets that his audio is coming from his channel.
This problem's not going to go away either. I mean, it's just going to get worse and worse, I think. And I think it's just a question of people getting a bit wiser with the things that they're buying. Simple as that.
As I say, that's the best way I can describe it. As I say, you know, it's the difference between buying a Technics and an Alba, isn't it? I mean, that's the reality of it, isn't it?
Nothing wrong with Alba.
Tinny rubbish. That's what that used to be. With 16 ohm speakers. That's how good they were.
with the paper cones.
Yes,
the cones made out of paper. Yeah, I remember those. Mm-hmm. My word. Nev, you've got a nice next one, I should say. And most punctual airline in Europe.
Yes, and it's interesting how they measure all this stuff. This is on businesstravelnewseurope.com, and it says that Icelandair has maintained its position as Europe's most punctual airline in July, according to the latest monthly figures from aviation analyst Cirium. The Nordic carrier achieved an on-time performance, OTP rate, of 81.4% last month, which was still the best of any European airline, despite falling by more than 4 percentage points from its June performance. SAS was the second best European performer with an OTP of 81%, followed by Turkish Airlines, 77.2%, Finnair 75%, and Iberia 75%. The list of the most punctual global airlines was dominated by carriers from Latin America and the Middle East, with Aeromexico taking top spot with an OTP of 89.8% in July, followed by Brazil's Azul, which is at 87.9%, Saudi 87.6%, Qatar 85.8%, and LATAM 82.1%. Cirium's figures also showed that July was another turbulent month for air travel, with the total number of flight cancellations exceeding 58,000 globally. This was 5% higher than the number of cancellations in May, although it was a significant improvement on June's performance, which was impacted by the 12-day war between Israel and Iran. In Europe, there were 10,740 cancelled flights in July, up by 29.5% on June's figure of 8,315 cancellations. There was even a larger month-on-month rise in North America, where July's cancellations rose by 42% to nearly 20,000 flights. Only one European airport featured in Cirium's list of the top 20 most on-time large airports in July. And Darren Smith will not be surprised to learn that Oslo in Norway was ranked in 18th place with an OTP of 80.6%. The two top major airports for punctuality globally was Bengaluru and Chennai in India. Now, I don't know how they measure all this, because flight cancellations can happen for so many different reasons. It could be technical, it could be weather, it could be crew unavailability. I mean, the list is as long as your arm. So you might say that Icelandair probably doesn't run as many flights as Ryanair, EasyJet and BA and Lufthansa and what have you. Having said that, Iberia run a lot of flights, and they were at 75%. So there you go. And Turkish too as well, 77.2%. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know how they calculate all that, because of the reasons for cancelling a flight or for it being late. And that could be airport operational reasons as well.
Darren Smith's happy about this story, Nev.
I bet he is.
Yeah.
We'll
Go Oslo, whoop whoop, he said.
Totally.
Yeah. I like Icelandair, mainly because they, had the 757. With awesome livery as well.
Well, they have now. Have they still got them?
I think
are they hanging on to them for a little bit longer? And
they were getting rid of them. Yeah, they were getting rid of them, but I think they're hanging on to the 75. Darren will know. He'll soon pop up.
If only we were an aviation podcast, we would know that.
We would know.
Yeah. Okay. Come back to you on that.
Next on is nationalworld.com. Find this one this afternoon, actually. It's making quite the headlines across the aviation network. Airline warns it could soon shut down amid substantial doubt over its survival after a weak demand for travel. Spirit Airlines have warned today that it could shut down despite emerging from bankruptcy and pursuing new revenue streams. The airline said it may not be able to stay in business over the next year, just 5 months after emerging from Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Its parent company, Spirit Aviation Holdings, said there is substantial doubt about the airline's ability to continue operating over the next year, according to its quarterly report published on Monday this week. Despite efforts to restructure debt and secure new financing following its exit from bankruptcy in March, the airline faces continued challenges. Weak demand for its domestic leisure travel and enduring operational uncertainties are among the critical pressures prompting the warning. By early Tuesday, as in yesterday afternoon, Spirit stock had plunged nearly 40%, trading at just above $2.20. The airline says it expects to continue for at least the remainder of 2025. Spirit has faced ongoing challenges regaining its footing and staying competitive since COVID-19 pandemic. Escalating operating expenses, growing debt has pushed the carrier to file for bankruptcy protection back in November 2024, after racking up more than $2.5 billion in losses since early 2020. Spirit became the first major US airline to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy since American Airlines did so back in 2011, and the airline has also implemented cost-saving measures, including furloughing 270 pilots and demoting 140 captains. So the big yellow, not looking good for them. It's quite a big airline over in the US, I know, and I think probably part of the reason why Spirit is struggling is possibly down to the fact that Southwest has such a substantial network in the US of kind of low-cost carrier.
Yeah, and Tanya was saying in the chat room that she flew Spirit early this year and really enjoyed it. Great cabin crew. But yeah, of course, they have just emerged, 5 months ago from Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And I've spoken to a number of people who have, with a bit more inside knowledge, who have said this has been on the cards for a long time. But it's a big moment, isn't it? That's furloughing 270 pilots and demoting 140 captains.
Ouch.
That's a big hit. And of course, it's not just the flight deck crew, it's the cabin crew, it's the operational ground handling people as well, if they have their own. Huge. And I think perhaps, it says weak demand for domestic leisure travel, but I don't see that or hear that in the US at all. I'm not close to it, obviously, but people still want to travel, I think, especially for the big holidays. And the summertime and all the rest of it, and go to different parts of the US. So I don't know. It's very strange. You might say there might be some duplication of routes there with other carriers as well. But if you have a stock or a stock plunged 40%, trading at $2.20, that's a huge moment, isn't it, really?
Master of None makes quite a good point, actually, in the chat room. Says... it's actually nice to see the yellow livery. Nice contrast to the majority of boring liveries in the US. Yeah, I agree, actually.
Getting a bit boring here as well, in my opinion. But
Captain Cruz says Spirit used to fly Douglas DC-9s when he first saw them. That's going back a few years. Yep. Actually, on that note, Captain Cruz, just wait for the Retro Airline ad this week. It's a royal treat, I'll tell you.
Ooh.
Right, Nev. We're going a bit space with the next one.
Oh, right. Okay. So we're going above flight level 450 by the sounds of things. And it's on the bbc.co.uk news section. It says a newly launched satellite will help with weather forecasting and climate analysis. A UK aerospace company Airbus, based in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, built the METOP SG-A1 under leadership from the European Space Agency. It was successfully launched into orbit on an Ariane 6 rocket from Europe's spaceport in Kourou, French Guiana, at 0137 BST. 5 more satellites are being built by Airbus in Toulouse, France, and Friedrichshafen, Germany, which will ensure coverage over the next 2 decades. The satellites work in pairs, with one providing atmospheric sounding and imaging data, and the other offering microwave imaging and radar observations. The satellites include a propulsion system which allows them to begin a descent into the sea after their mission was complete, reducing space debris. Martin Gittins, head of propulsion program at Airbus Stevenage, said more than 100 engineers have worked on the project in the Hertfordshire town alone. He has worked on the project himself with his team since 2016, and he says you can't get much more exciting than seeing a rocket launch and your payload being delivered safely into space. Yes, it's a long program, but you have to balance that with the excitement of the launch. Satellites will help predictions despite increasingly erratic weather patterns. He explained that timely and precise forecasting has never been more crucial, and the METOP SG mission is now set to play a critical role in improving weather forecasts and climate monitoring. Alain Faure, head of space systems at Airbus, added the successful launch of the METOP SG-A1 is a landmark moment for Europe and for global weather forecasting. Well, I've actually been to this site many, many years ago, and it's a very impressive facility, I can tell you. And lots of clean rooms and clean areas there. But no, it's good stuff. Good that we're seeing some things going on here. But it's rocket launches. I mean, I'm always crossing my fingers when these things go up, because there have been a number of failures. And can you imagine, having worked for years on the satellite technology that goes into these things, to find that it's ended up blowing up on the pad or soon after launch or whatever it is? You know, obviously there's no loss of life, but honestly, the loss of revenue and, well, pride, time. Yeah, absolutely. Must be horrific. Anyway, the fact is it's happened. It's all good. So that's the main thing.
Captain Cruz says, what's the CO2 footprint of a rocket launch? Good point.
Big number.
Big number.
Yeah.
Matt, you have got the and finally last story in the commercial news segment this week.
Okay.
And a nice. I think this is quite a nice little story. Actually, I think I found.
So yes, it's very, very you. I think is the best way to describe this. And finally, cheeky cat sneaks onto Stansted Airport train and heads into busy terminal. A cat living in a village near a major UK airport stunned its owner this week when he jumped aboard a train and headed to the terminal. The Ginger Tom, called Zeus, is well known for his adventures in Stansted, frequently being seen in pubs, offices and shops. But owner Lily Burrows-Evans, 27, I don't know why the age is relevant on that one, was amazed when she discovered he had boarded the train for the airport. British Transport Police and the train operator Greater Anglia were both then involved and successfully ensured Zeus was found. Zeus is so well known in the area that a local who works at London Stansted Airport was aware of his exploits and brought him home. His latest adventure on board the Stansted Express delighted people on the village Facebook page when someone posted that he was at the airport waiting to be collected. Zeus is such a legend, they posted. Fancied travelling to the airport, said one amused reader. Recently, the Mirror revealed how British passport holders are urged to do one important thing before October the 12th. I wonder where he was thinking of going, said another. Lily said that he's a nightmare, but I love him to bits. I know he has toyed with the idea of a couple of times as people have shooed him off. Then I saw the post on Facebook on Tuesday that he had ended up at the airport. I phoned the British Transport Police, who got in touch with the Greater Anglia office at the airport. A woman who works there lives in Stansted and knew him well, so he came back with her on the next train. She handed him over to Sabrina, who works in the ticket office, who took him back home for me, she added. When we first moved to Stansted, his first outing was on the at the train station when he visited the lady in the ticket office. He then got bolder and bolder and harasses everyone for cuddles. A Greater Anglia spokesperson said that we are happy to arrange Zeus's safe return trip aboard the Stansted Express and ensure that he was safely reunited with his owners. It seems as though he enjoyed catching the train.
Very good.
Key question from Masha in the chat room. There's no age mentioned for the cat.
I know, which I think is very rude. If we're going to mention the fact that the owner was 27 years old, then we should say that, Zeus is 15 or something like that. I don't know. But, yes. As one of my pet hates, I never really understand quite why the age is relevant in these news stories. Man has been arrested.
Well, I want to hear what the cat's age is.
Yeah. Man has been arrested for man such and such has been arrested for this. Peter, aged 27, has been... It's like, what's that got to do with anything? Oh dear, never mind.
Well, what a lovely story. I mean, at least he's got a passion for aviation. He obviously wants to...
Right, okay. I'm
trying to install aviation in Dave and Nigel's life.
Yeah, are you?
Quite often.
Right. There we go. There's a lovely picture of Zeus being returned.
Excellent. A good story. A good story to end the commercial news with this week.
Indeed.
Right, Nev, what did we get up to at the weekend?
Well, we were very lucky, actually, because we went down to a facility just outside Gatwick Airport where Carlos and I had a go for over an hour in a full motion A320 simulator, which neither of us have ever done before. And to say that we had smiles on our faces, which stuck with us for the remainder of the weekend, would be an understatement. It is a fantastic experience. Now, we've both flown fixed-base simulators before and made, reasonable jobs of it, I would say. But a full-motion Level D sim like these, it's a whole new thing. And the realism is just brilliant. And actually, I have to say, because I wasn't sure what it was going to be like, but I have to say that I preferred the full motion system. I don't know what you thought, really? Carlos, but it made a real difference to how you felt in your seat.
Yeah, how it gives you the feel of acceleration is just
now
incredible.
That's what I wasn't ready for. So when we did, so you were in the left-hand seat to begin with, and I was in the instructor's position behind. Not that I'm an instructor, but I wasn't ready or even thinking about the acceleration part of it, and it was phenomenal. It was just like an A320. And when either you or I gave it toga power on one of the takeoffs, that was, you were seriously pushed back in your seat then.
So how does it do that?
Well, it's obviously you've got lots of jacks and hydraulic stuff, and
gimbals.
They obviously are in a mode where it gives you that feeling. And of course, your ears are part of the balance system as well. And you really get shoved back in your seat. And it was absolutely brilliant.
Such a good week.
Really good. Really enjoyed it. We do have a bit of video. I've been a bit naughty here, by the way, because the bit of video I've chosen wasn't Carlos's best landing.
Nice.
Which is a bit cheeky. But we will play his decent one at some point. Maybe next year.
At some point, yeah,
but I thought we should play his.
Thanks.
The one that he
We're
did.
not going to play the one where all of a sudden a cyclone appeared at the end of the runway. Then
No, we're not going to play that because that's ridiculous. Yes, because when I was in the left-hand seat on one of the occasions, Carlos found the weather function at the instructor's point and decided to. Up the game a little bit, shall we say? And you were getting thrown around quite a lot on short final, which I didn't enjoy terribly. But anyway, if you're listening to this as an audio podcast, this is not going to be helpful at all. But if you would like to come over to YouTube and have a look at this, Matt's going to play out a bit of Carlos on final. I think this was at Gatwick, or maybe
it was Gatwick. Was it
Luca?
Malta?
I can't remember.
Might have been Malta. Yeah, might have been Luca.
But,
no, it's good fun, really good fun. I think if it's all green up front, it'll probably be Luca, or it might actually no. I think it is the Gatwick approach, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think you honestly you did very well, and it's the last 50 feet is the most challenging, I think, isn't it? When you're having to look at the far end of the runway to just gauge your descent. But no, I think you did really well. This wasn't the smoothest landing you did, but the one following
was a lot better. Yeah.
Yes.
The problem is Andy's a phenomenal trainer. He's so good at what he does, and he one of his kind of advice, bits of advice were to, when you're on that final descent from about sort of 100 feet, the idea is to look straight out the window at the runway in front of you, and then use that acuity to bring the aircraft down. Whereas I was looking at the flight directors, which was not the good thing to do. Obviously, if you're looking at the flight directors, you're not looking out the window, so you're not really kind of gauging things properly. But yeah, on the second approach I did use the windows to look out of.
Retard. 10, 5.
Oh,
yeah.
That's going to require a heavy landing check, isn't it? Wow.
The beautiful thing is that with it sounds like you broke something. I swear I can hear something rattling as it's going down the road.
That was my teeth.
Yes, I can imagine.
Behind.
What I mean, because obviously Nev, you were in the back there. I presume were you standing up, or do you have to sit?
No, I am sat down, strapped in. If the motion is on, you are not standing up at all. You are sitting down with your straps on. And Andy is a stickler for detail, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a top fella in that respect. So it was a fantastic opportunity to do it. But really, the realism, and you can see why it's quite possible to fly the aircraft for real after doing that, because, as I say, the realism is just unbelievable.
And Flynn in the chat room says, a Ryanair landing.
Good point.
Just like one, yes, absolutely. Yeah, lovely. I'm sure they'll give you a licence by the end of the programme, Carlos.
Now, we will play, not tonight, not this week, because we've got a bit to do this week, but next week, I promise I'll play you the nice landing that Carlos did. I might put my nice one in as well.
Perhaps we'll talk about those when Andy's available.
Yes, because he does a bit of a critique, doesn't he?
Yes, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Love
so there
that.
we go.
Well, it looked like a lot of fun.
So enjoyable, honestly.
It was.
If I had countless pots of money, I would just go and spend every weekend in the sim, and I'd do like a 4-hour stint. Just
nice.
Just to do it. But
Nice.
no, mega.
It's a bit like a time machine, though, isn't it? You know, that we were in there for a little over an hour and a quarter. I mean, the time just vanished, didn't it? And you could, if you were given free reign, days could disappear in that machine, couldn't they?
Oh dear. Well, it was
what a lot of
awesome.
fun.
What a lot
Really
of fun.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Nev, next part of the show, we've got the retro airline ad of the week, haven't we?
We have, yeah. And this week we're going back to 1965 and to an airline that supposedly flew the Whisperjet. But judging by this retro ad, this may not have been the case. Turn up your speakers and mind those hush kits.
And I've just got a quick technical fault. It has frozen. Bear with.
The heat is playing.
Yeah.
Playing.
Mate, you have no idea. Right. Okay. Here we go then. And we'll go 3. I'm just going to do this. Just because it's easier to do that. And then there we go. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in post. Here we go.
A day begins. For Eastern Airlines, another busy day. This day, 200,000 Americans will fly. 1 out of every 6 on Eastern. Eastern will service over 80% of America's industrial area and the capital cities of Canada, the United States, Mexico, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. On this day, on any day, we will carry more people than all but one of the world's airlines. Eastern, an airline with a big day's work to do.
Now, it said there all but one of the airlines. What was the airline they're referring to?
Oh, don't ask complicated questions.
Oh, sorry.
Like
Right.
I don't know.
Well, no, it said they were carrying more passengers than more.
Well, this
than
must be one of the big
other...
US carriers.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
Sorry.
definitely not a whisper jet. More of a screaming JT8D with a hush kit strapped to the back.
Mind you, that 727, I mean, that was such a versatile aircraft, wasn't it? I mean, if you look at, pictures on those on approaches with all the flaps hanging out and all the rest of it, it's an incredible sight. And, because it was so versatile, it was able to get in and out of hot and high airports and, shorter runways and this sort of stuff. So, it was a great aircraft. I never got the chance to fly on one. I nearly went on a Dan Air 727 from Gatwick once, but didn't manage to do that. But, no, brilliant aircraft.
Right. Now, moving over to the next part of the show, and as you may know, we sent our roving reporter over to Oshkosh with under the PTUK banner, and I must admit, Nev, I watched this for the first time this afternoon, and I had to chuckle just a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
I'm easily pleased normally, as you can imagine, but especially when it comes to military things. But I could not believe what I was hearing and seeing. So if you are listening to this as a audio podcast, it might be worth heading over to the YouTube feed as well. But I've got to thank Captain Al so much for covering Oshkosh 2025 for us on behalf of the show. Really appreciate all his efforts. However, what has come out of some of the pieces that he's done for us is his incredibly encyclopedic knowledge of military aircraft. I know it sounds ridiculous, but he's been hiding this knowledge away from all of us for some time now. I would say it's actually so good. I would go as far as to say that it makes Jonathan Warner look like an amateur. Sorry, Jonathan. We're even considering having Al on in a new specialist military segment for future episodes. So good is his contribution here. Anyway, here is Al's first report from the show, and you'll be able to judge for yourselves how he really demonstrates his first-class knowledge of the subject. It's impressive.
Welcome back, everyone, to Oshkosh. Don't know, really. It's grey. That's all you really need to know. Part of the military thing. It's grey. It's got 4 grey things, grey tail, and you can get fairly close. It's grey. There we go. And well, we've got some sort of other military thing. It's kind of like a silver grey. I'll show you some more. Look, there's some more grey over there. Got some silvery grey stuff, and then some like grey stuff. That's not really grey, but that's grey. That's grey. This over here isn't grey, but kind of masquerades as grey. I think it's a Bono, I'm not sure. I'm not really good on these military aeroplanes. And this presumably is advertising tourism in New Hampshire. Again, I'm not too good on this. Captain Jeff flew one of these, and I think Captain Jeff might have flown this very one, judging by all of the ripples in the fuselage. Do a bit more walking over here, because there's some more grey over here. Feel like Martin Brundle on the Grand Prix pit thing. Starting grid, that's the word I'm looking for. This is grey. That's the big grey thing. And this is living proof that health and safety doesn't exist in the United States. Hands up if you want to see some more grey. Alright, I'll take a little wander over here. Trying not to get killed. I seem to be the only person in this bit, so that may or may not be a good thing. If Nev hasn't been able to stabilise the video, then you'll be sick now. Yep, that's grey. Has Jonathan Warner exploded yet? Because there's some more grey here. These things are kind of like noisy grey. There's some more grey. And a bit more grey. So that's it from the grey part of Oshkosh. Bye for now.
I think my favourite part there was, and this is the noisy greys.
I mean, his explanation on the you know, like the B2 and that was incredible.
I know,
his knowledge.
Absolutely. The very first, do you know what? For the very first time, guys, I actually fully understood military, just briefly.
Master of None in the chat room is saying, man, Oshkosh was really grey.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, stealth grey. Tanya is saying. Alex Robin suggesting very grey. What else have we got? Ant Finn is saying that this is extensive knowledge. A little bit too much detail, really. I guess he will learn as he goes, not to fill our heads with all that information.
Jonathan Warner's actually says something in the chat.
Has he exploded?
He's saying genius.
I know, absolutely.
That is, testament there.
50 Shades of Al. That's a different movie altogether, Richard. I don't think we should discuss that one.
Well, I'll tell it, for me, I, for one, can't wait for Captain Al's next report from Oshkosh.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, there'll be one next week with even more detail.
Lovely.
If you can imagine.
Darren Smith's comment in the chat room, that is spot on. 100% spot on. Can you read that out, Nev? That is...
Yes, Darren says, give him a job at Sky News. He knows too much.
He does know too much. That's the trouble. It would improve... Yes. Weirdly, they would suddenly be more accurate. There we go.
Oh, my word. Right.
Oh, Captain
Enough
Al.
of this tomfoolery with the well, that concludes our military segment for this week.
Oh, good.
So thanks to Al for that. We've got coming up next an interview that I done with Andrew Van der Saag at Bray a few weeks ago in Dublin, and it's not very often we get a chance to meet listeners when we're out and about at the air shows and have a good old chat with them. But we were very lucky indeed to have Andrew visit us at Dublin at the Bray Air Show. So here we go. So, it's not very often we get a chance to meet one of our loyal listeners on the show, but Andrew Van der Saag, welcome.
Thanks, Carlos. Great to meet you guys.
Yeah. You've travelled down from
Edinburgh,
yeah, that's it. So, good flight?
Yeah, really good. I was on Aer Lingus last night, a little bit delayed, but got there on time. So yeah, it was good.
Seat 1A?
No. No, that's always reserved for Nev.
For Nev, exactly.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you've been watching the aircraft here at Bray today. What do you think of the air show?
Oh, it was phenomenal. Just a great selection of displays, and I particularly like the jet pits. That was just phenomenal. I haven't seen one of those before, so it's probably the highlight. Yeah.
So, for the listeners who might not know, we detect an accent there, Andrew. So not from Edinburgh, but...
No, so from Australia originally, so I moved over to the UK 6 months ago. So here for a couple of years, just to see how things... And really loving living in the UK. And it's great to be able to come and do these things on the weekend and, meet you guys and see different air shows. Went to Duxford a couple of weeks ago. Fortunately didn't work out to catch you guys there, but that was awesome as well. So, great to see some UK aviation.
Yeah, great. And... favourite aircraft of the show today?
It's hard, I think. Hard to beat the jet pits, I think. But the A321 display by Aer Lingus was pretty good as well. Yeah. Particularly the toga at the end. That was cool.
So plans for the rest of your trip? You in Dublin for long? Are you flying back to Edinburgh soon?
Flying back tomorrow. So just check out the sights of Edinburgh tomorrow, and then head back to Edinburgh in the evening. First time in Ireland. So it's great to be here.
Excellent. And what got you into PTUK? I have to ask.
I think it might have actually been APG. Like, I've been listening to you guys for a long time. I think I might have heard you guys through them. So it's been a mostly audio listener, but I try and catch the live show when I can.
Wow, brilliant. Yeah. And you enjoy the show, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. You guys do an awesome job. So thanks for all the effort you put into it. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and it's great to meet you as well, Andrew. So thanks for obviously coming to Dublin and sort of catching up with me and Nev here at the air show.
Yeah, likewise. Really good to meet you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Back to you.
Oh, wasn't that nice to see Mr. Van der Saag? Brilliant, Andrew. Thanks for coming to see us, and thanks to the Irish Air Corps for allowing us to use their stand-up area there for our video, which was very good indeed. We'll come back to another video about the Irish Air Corps next week or the week after. Maybe. It was a really good interview Carlos did there as well. So, as you can see, it was really busy there, and I mean, considering Bray is a seaside resort basically, and it was packed, wasn't it? 30 or 40,000 people, they reckon they had there.
Yeah, it was 40. Yeah, it's definitely, it's 40, wasn't it? I think when they done the total. Yeah, it was amazing. I know the guys we interviewed at the airfield, Nev, who flew the I forget the jet name now.
The Ravens, do you mean?
Yeah, no, the jet, the Hunter style jet.
Oh yes. Yeah.
The guys who flew that jet done like a fly past video from the cockpit of the aircraft. They flew right along the front there at Bray, and it was you don't realise just how many people there are standing along that seafront watching the display. There was so many people, and we were just in a small kind of little area, weren't we, where the media centre was. So.
And we must thank once again Alan White for being a superb host for us. We could not have done this show without his efforts. Yep. He has put in so much effort, and we've used a lot of his good services and good relationships with other people at the air show, which enabled us to get unbelievable access. So we'll show you some more of those interviews. I'd just like to publicly thank Alan once again for being such a fantastic host, and also meeting his son Patrick and his father Ian as well, which was brilliant. So it's nice to meet all of them, and really appreciate all your time, Alan, so thank you again.
Yes, thank you, Alan, from all of us here at the show. You are an awesome part of the team, I should say, Nev, isn't he? He just honestly, who he doesn't know.
It's all. Well, this is the thing about Ireland. I've noticed over the 30 years that I've been going there. Everybody knows everybody else. I don't know how that's possible, but of course, if you think about what the population is and the size of the country, but yeah, people know people, and Alan's relationship with the organisers and others as part of Bray was really important. Oh, don't worry, Nev, I'll just phone him up or text him, and he'll do an interview for you, and he did.
As you do.
It was brilliant. So yeah, fantastic.
Thank you, Alan. Right, time to give away a piece of a Red Arrows RAF Hawk, X-Ray 310. Now, Nev, you came up with the idea for this competition a few weeks back now. So just quickly, before we announce who is the winner this week, what was the idea behind this?
Well, yeah, I don't know why I thought of this, but it was just one of those spur-of-the-moment things. And we all know what a total military geek Jonathan Warner is. And he does have a lot of photographic gear that he takes with him each year to RIAT and to other shows. And just as well, it's digital, of course, these days. And he doesn't have to take loads of rolls of film to the chemist to get them developed. But the question was, how many still photos did Jonathan take at the RIAT 2025 show? Well, the prize, as Carlos has mentioned, is a starboard aileron tag from the one of the aircraft, the X-Ray 310, and this tag was cut from the aileron and removed from the aircraft because of a number of dents that were found in it, and it was taken out of service. And it also comes complete with a copy of the removal certificate as well, which I think Carlos has got.
Yep, I've got it right here. Well. There we go.
So there it is, genuine item.
So Matt has, hopefully, in the Play-Out folder, he's got the screen grab that Mr. Warner took of the exact amount of pictures that he took on his memory, or his SD card, I'm guessing it was, wasn't it, Nev, in his DSLR. We had lots of guesses in from various people. We had Sturman, who came in with quite a hefty 16,753. I must admit, actually, if this was last year, Sturman, you would have been very close indeed. We had Captain Cruz in with 12,351. We had who else? We had James Graves Brown, 1,356. We had a lot of answers in, all varying levels of guesses, but one person did guess near the exact total. Now, Matt, I don't know if you've got the picture there. You could pop that up on the screen if you've got that screen grab. It should be in the folder, hopefully. Yep, there we go. So the actual total of photos that was taken by Mr. Warner was 8,028. So that's 8,8028. of pictures. Now, the closest person to that figure, I don't know whether he's in the chat room this evening or not, he normally is, was someone who guessed 8,754, which I have to say is not bad guess, to be fair. And so the winner of this lovely tag here, which I've got here in front of me, holding in my hand here, for those of you watching in the world of YouTube, this tag here, the winner of this tag here is John Falk. And there we go, John. You are the winner of the tag. John, well done. I will whisk that off to you as soon as you let us know where you want me to send it off to, John. So, yeah, so the winner of that, John Falk, 8,754 was his guess. Dirk, you were close second. I will say, Dirk, you were close second. So well done to you. But thanks to everyone who entered the competition. And I think Sturman said in the chat room a minute ago, this is a very awesome prize to win. I'm guessing for fans of the Red Arrows, Nev, this is probably we've probably seen this flying through the sky at an air show we've been to in the past. So
absolutely, yeah. I know John flits between the Channel Islands and Belgium. So John, when you hear this, let us know. In fact, we might just ping you a quick email to let you know that you've won, and you can tell us where you would like us to send it to. But very well done. Congratulations.
Well done. That's so good. Right, moving on to starting to wrap the show up because it's warm in here. No, we're down to 29 degrees Celsius.
Oh, it's gone down a whole degree. Yeah.
It's all about the Beccles meet-up we've got coming up at the end of the month. Now, Nev, we had some awesome news, didn't we, earlier this week? In regards to someone who is making a long journey to come here.
Well, unbelievable. And I've actually asked her if we can mention it, whether she wants to keep it a secret or not, but she's quite happy to let people know that Tanya Wyman is joining us. And she's flying all the way from, I think, the east coast of the United States, if I remember correctly, all the way on an A350-1000 belonging to Virgin Atlantic. She lands on the Saturday morning, I think, and she's going to join us in the afternoon of Saturday the 30th of August.
Wow.
But is she going to stay for a week, a fortnight, a month? No. She's going back on the Sunday, doing a Dr. Steph style bit of travel. So a very quick meet with Tanya. But thank you so much, Tanya. It means a great deal to us for the fact that you want to come all this way just for such a short visit. The bonus, of course, isn't meeting us again, but it's being on an A350. That's the main thing I would say.
Absolutely.
But also meeting all the other folks that are going to be there as well. We know that Jenny in Rome is going to be there as well, and other people too that we've heard about in the last couple of days. So just want to say thank you very much, Tanya, for spending your money to come all that way to see us. And
amazing.
Well, we are very touched. Thank you.
We are
indeed,
very much indeed.
Just to let you know, your video's gone strange, Nev. Just
normal. Yes.
Okay.
Also, I heard from our good friend, who we heard from earlier on the show, who done our military segment, Captain Al, yesterday, and Captain Al has he's going to be hopefully joining us. At the end of the month at the meetup at Beccles. Hopefully Captain Al's going to be flying in, all being well. So it'd be great to see Al on that weekend. So fingers crossed, Al will be flying in as well. So you'll get to meet Captain Al as well if you come to the meetup. I think there are a handful of other listeners as well who are in the UK who are going to be coming as well. So it should be a good. I'm fingers crossed. Honestly, the weather better be good. That's all I'm going to say. Otherwise, I'm moving out of the UK.
Fair enough.
In protest. In protest. Right, that is where we're going to start.
Sorry, we interrupt this very important broadcast for an update from earlier in the show. Obviously, if you were here earlier. There you go. Mummy Carlos was in the studio. Look, there we go. Oh, lovely.
Oh, blimey. Honestly.
Love that.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mum.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Honestly, Mum. Oh, that was always
Bless
nice to have
her.
Mum. Well, the first time Mum's been on the show, to be
It's her
fair.
first appearance, I think.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Mum's first appearance in, 11 years of
Something
doing
like
this?
that. Yeah. She does know you do it now, which is nice.
Yeah. Right, now, social media links. Nev, where can people find out more about us online?
Yes, so just have a look at the socials on Facebook, X or Instagram and search for Plain Talking UK. You can email the show, podcast@plaintalkinguk.com, or have a look at us on the website, plaintalkinguk.com. Also, the WhatsApp number, +44 7446 975 214. That's +44 7446 975 214. Send us your aviation pictures or whatever you like on that. Don't forget you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Can you click the like button when you get a chance as well? You'll get notifications when we go live, and you can help shape the conversation of the show by joining us in the chat room, as many people have done tonight. Just go to youtube.com and search for Plain Talking UK. We do have some costs of running the show, of course, media hosting costs, website hosting costs, occasional beer costs as well. And we do need a bit of help with that sometimes. So if you think that you can help us offset some of those costs, have a look at the top of the web page there. It's got details about PayPal and Patreon donation, but only if you can afford it. We're not begging for money, but it all helps, I must say. So thank you.
And just quickly again, if you are listening and you do want to come to that meet up at Beccles, it is on Saturday the 30th of August. That's the last Saturday of this month. We're going to be there from around midday. So that's Beccles Airfield there. If you give it, it's right on the east coast, not far from the beach. Well, not far from the sea. It's literally a 2-minute flight away if you're in a Cessna 150. But yeah, Saturday the 30th of August. From around midday onwards, and we'd love to see you there if you can come and see us. So there we go. Right, quick round robin before we finish. Nev, what are you up to next week? Anything good?
What have we been doing today? I had a pension review today. That was very exciting. So that tells me I'm going to be 88 when the money runs out, basically. So I need to finish everything by then, basically. So. Actually, not much going on in the next week or so, but Matt and myself are planning on doing a rather special interview at the end of next week, which we'll be bringing to you at some point. And also, I'm just speaking with Grub Street Publishing and our good chum Nick Anderson to do another series of interviews. We've got another book which we've been reviewing, and we should have some information on that in the next few weeks as well. So that'll be nice to do another long form interview with Nick asking the questions.
Excellent.
Not had one of those for a while, actually. That'll be really good.
We haven't. Be good, yeah. Matt, anything exciting going on in the world of Smith?
No. What have we got? What have we got going on? Friday, it's VJ Day celebrations, or commemoration. Commemoration. I suppose is best in Dis. So we're hosting that, Park Radio, and Saturday, Royden Soundwaves. Nev knows all about that. He's had all the details, and and then on the Sunday, I'm off to the Porsche East car show because I'm hosting and comparing there, which is going to be very exciting. So quite looking forward to that. Forecast hopefully is going to be nice indeed. So yes, if you're not doing anything on Sunday, pop along to Rickenhall. There you go.
I'm going to be gardening this weekend, just for a change. Getting the garden ready for the boys' first outing in the outside world, because we're obviously keeping the boys in while we're
I have to ask the question, because I was as were you, but I was ever so worried about poor little Dave, who had basically decided he was going to live in the drawer because there was too much toing and froing, and because as I say, Nigel,
he's a lot better now.
Yeah, Nigel doesn't care. I mean, you could you know, it's like he's just like, oh, this is where we live now. Is it okay? Fine.
Yeah.
As where poor little Dave was a bit traumatised by it all. Bless him, wasn't he? And
he's a lot better.
He was literally hiding in the telephone drawer. It was brilliant. Bless him.
No, he's a lot better now. They are settling in now. It's a big, it's a big change.
Oh God, yeah.
When you're a little,
yeah.
well, technically just turning from a kitten to a cat.
Yes.
Because they're now a year old.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big thing for them. And obviously, as Matt knows, where we've moved is going to be quite a change for them both, because we've moved from from a sort of a large housing estate with lots of houses. We're moved out to the countryside where we've now got there's actually trees and fields outside that window there. So we can say is that we are going to have various presents brought back to us.
That'll be a treat for you.
Forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope neither of you are squeamish. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my word! I know. I've got to put the cat flap in as yet. That's another chore.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yes, that'll be exciting. But no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So that is where we are going to wrap up episode 564. Big thanks to Nev for being with us tonight. As always, thank you for Nev for popping stories in the folder as well this week. Thanks for you for doing that. Also, thanks to Matt for being in a slightly warm studio, the Master Suite studio tonight.
I've got my USB fan. It's fine.
Okay. And also a big thanks as well to all the chat room for joining us in the chat room tonight. Lovely to see you all in there, as always.
Captain Cruz is asking, Carlos Stebbings, is there Balls Off Day coming soon? That happened
that's already
ages
been.
ago.
That happened a long while ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that's already been and gone. But thank you to the chat room for being your awesome self, as always. And also, thanks to everyone who downloads the show as an audio podcast as well, who downloads us and listens to us each week. Thank you to you all for listening to us via your various podcast apps. So thank you. That's it for 564. We'll be back next Wednesday for episode 565, all being well. Hopefully it'll be a bit cooler. From me, Carlos, here in the home studio, from Matt in the Master Suite studios, and from Nev in his glorious Buckinghamshire studio. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Say goodbye, Nev.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you again soon. Bye-bye.
And there we were done.
Ooh, there we go.
And there we were done.
A few technical glitches, but hey ho, it is about 7,000 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we should be grateful that was all, really. Should be grateful for that, I guess.
I mean, God knows how hot my PC is. It's been on since 3:30 this afternoon.
Yes, it'll be a little bit warm. Yes, absolutely. There's no two ways about that.
Right. Anyway, I'm going to have to dip off, guys and girls. I'm going to nip off and go and eat food and see Gemma, because she's been away at work all day. So.
Oh, bless her. Yeah,
but yes, so I'm going to leave you to say goodbye to all the chat room, and I shall see you all next week. So thanks everyone again.
Indeed.
And
yes. All right.
I shall leave you in the capable hands.
We'll all say goodbye together.
Are we all going to say goodbye?
Yeah,
okay, we'll all say goodbye together. Let's all say goodbye together. Yeah, thanks everyone in the chat room again for tonight. Great to see you all in there. And Nev, final words?
Yep, thanks for everyone's contribution. I had a lot of fun tonight in the chat room. Some excellent comments with regard to Al's contribution, I thought, as well. So thank you very much for that. In the meantime, have a great rest of the week and the weekend. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7 o'clock UK time. Bye for now.